character of Job. Job kind of gets a bad rap sometimes because he wasn't perfect, as in he never sinned or anything like that. But man, I believe he was a saved man. He was just misguided. His hope was in the wrong things, and by God allowing these things to happen to him made his relationship with God so much sweeter. So much sweeter when you don't put your hope in things and circumstances. Your relationship with God is sweeter because you recognize what those things are put there for, those hard times that we go through. And I don't know of anybody that's went through a harder time than Job other than Christ himself. And he is a picture of Christ in that way. But hopefully we can draw from this something that'll bless us today, give us a renewed strength. That's kind of our theme for today, getting ready for revival coming up. Revival can be really good if it's already in your hearts. And then you have those series of meetings and they just really resonate with you because you're already uplifted. And so that's going to be the theme for today. Let's get started. In what land did Job live? Uz. Kind of a weird name, ain't it? It's kind of where the name Oz comes from. Yeah. Uz had like in the middle of Uz, not all of Uz, but like in the middle of it was a really blustering, what would you call it? Just it flowed with milk and honey. Just this area in the middle. And that's where Job was at. The outside was all like rocky and desert land, but the middle of it was really an awesome place, put it that way. Anything would grow there. And that's kind of where you get Oz from, in those movies, which I know that's all messed up, but Oz was this place where everything grew brighter, grew taller. It was kind of like a heaven. Basically, they were trying to portray that, but the word Uz means inner strength, is what it means. And that's what they named it that. Probably because of one of the sons of Shem had migrated to that area. His name was Uz, but his name means inner strength. And you got this land that's all desolate on the outside, but the inside of it is this plush, fruitful area. And so the name really fits it, inner strength. And it reveals Job's inner strength and also strengthens it, makes it even more. And so this is, I believe this whole story has this idea to it, this character that we're supposed to go after was the character of Job. Even when we don't quite know for sure where we stand, his wife even told him, curse God and die. This was some serious stuff. I don't think any of us have to face as much as what Job has went through. And so we can draw strength just from looking at him, seeing how he did it. And this was before the revelation. There was no New Testament. Jesus hadn't even come and revealed God's character yet. But Job went after it so much that he was willing to go through all of that until God showed himself to him. And I believe that was even available in the Old Testament. You could see God's character. You just had to get all the trees out of the way, as we mentioned before, to see his goodness. If you read the Bible without the New Testament in mind, you see this ogre God that's killing everybody. But when you have the mindset of the New Testament, you see why all that had to take place. Even all that was love for his people, or love for those that did right. He had to judge those that did wrong. And so thinking about that, number 2, how is Job described? Is that how you say that? Eschewed? I always thought it was eschewed. Anybody know? Eschewed evil. It means you hate it. You despise it. Even though you know you have it, you despise it. It's like hating your own sin. Which I think is what he got to later. Before that, it's hating everybody else's. But it's a transformation that we all have to go through, see. When we become a believer, we start out being very zealous and we forgot where we came from. And we hate evil, but we don't hate our own evil. The evil there's a very big definition of evil. It's not just the stuff that is wickedness. It's evil is anything that's not good. Him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin. And so I used to use this analogy. I don't use it much anymore because it's I don't think it's near as good an illustration as I could use something else, but I don't want to offend anybody, so I don't use any sin. But it's good to brush your teeth, right? So you do it not, and you reap the benefits, see? And I know that's not a very good illustration, but I don't want to point out any sin, especially my own, in front of everybody. So that's the best way I know to put it. So, number 3, how many sons and daughters did Job have?
7 sons and 3 daughters.
7 sons and 3 daughters. And name the various quantities of Job's livestock.
He had 7,000 sheep. He had camels, 500 yokes of oxen.
Yeah.
500 sheep. A grateful household.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yep. Well, he had a lot of stuff. That's how you knew wealth. That was Abraham too. He had a lot of livestock, and that was the wealth of that day. I mean, they had money too, but not so much. If you bought something, you'd give 3 goats for it. Whatever somebody wanted, sheep or whatever. But there wasn't anybody like him in the land. He was the cream of the crop, so to speak. And so people get a skewed look at that, and they think, well, God's blessed him because of his obedience to him. But how many people do you see today that really obeys God, but they don't have much? So you can't measure that by that. It can be, but we don't measure it by that. Number 5, what did Job offer according to the number of his children? Burnt offerings. He's worried about his kids, so he made offerings for them. And this is one of his mistakes, I believe, in not being a part of their lives enough to where they would do them themselves. But sure, he learned from that, because every one of them that was destroyed in all this, if you notice what it would say about them, they were eating and drinking and getting drunk and partying and
he was making offerings for their sons when they should
yeah.
be doing it.
Yeah. So something to learn there, and I know that sometimes it doesn't matter. You can do everything like that, teach them right, and they still run off. Look at the devil. He was in the presence of God and got filled up with pride. Pride's what it all is, and they just have to be humbled. Who came before the Lord with the sons of God? Satan. And Job was in the time frame of like when Abraham roamed the earth. And that's the sons of God were angels at that time. And the angels always presented themselves before God. and Satan came with them. Nothing is done in this world unless God allows it. Satan came with the other angels. We see another picture of that in 1 Kings or 2 Kings, I can't remember, when the prophet, can't remember which one it was, that declared to Ahab that all of his prophets would have a lying spirit. Remember that? And that lying spirit told Ahab that he was going to be fine, go on to war. And God took all those lying spirits and put them out. And he said, who will go and be a lying spirit in the mouth of all the prophets of Ahab? So you really get a picture of all the false prophets today that prophesy lies. And God tells them, in the scripture, God says that they're the false preachers that are all out there. I have sent them. That's hard for a lot of people to take, but that's how God separates those who really want God and those who are all about themselves, by these false teachers. 2 Timothy chapter 4 says, in the last days perilous times shall come. Everybody will be lovers of themselves, and they'll keep to themselves teachers, having itching ears, not wanting sound doctrine. They go and get all the teachers they can. They'll make them feel good. And those are all lying spirits that are sent to separate the sheep from the goats. And so if you're real, if you're true, you'll see those for what they are. Those lying spirits. You'll see it and you'll stay away from it. That's part of my job, is to reveal that to you, to keep you safe. I'm not the shepherd, but I'm the sheep dog. Oh, my picture's gone. I'm under that shepherd, and with this book, he has made me fall in love with. I study it, I eat it, I ingest it. Not always right, I'm sure, but I want to be, and I want to help stay away from those things, so that you can have a really real relationship with God, not one that's all built on emotion and economy and all just finances and everything. It must be built on a relationship with Him. And so Satan's there, and God's asked him, have you considered my servant Job? Well, God's thinking in his mind, I want a sweeter relationship with Job, and I know exactly how I'm going to get it. And so he says to Satan, have you considered my servant Job? And what's Job say? What did Satan say God had made about Job? Satan says, you protect him. I have not been able to do anything with him. You've got this hedge of protection. And what did Satan say Job would do if the Lord touched all that he had? Yeah. Satan says, he's just that way. You've just got this guy because of all that you've done for him. And so there was a reason why Satan thought that. Satan's not dumb. He's stupid, but he's not dumb. So there's a reason, and God saw that reason too and wanted to fix it. And so this had to take place. Number 9, what was the Lord's reply to Satan?
All that he hath is in thy power, only upon him, but not for his son.
So give him the power to take everything from Job. Everything. The loyalty of his wife, all of his children, all of his riches were gone. Nothing left. And who did the first message? Oh, I shouldn't have said that yet. Thank you.
They took away the oxen and asses, and his slave drove
The Sabians.
I
Yep.
look at it this way. It's in the Bible. If you're reading the Bible, how can you not say it?
Right. Yep. What did the second messenger say came down and burned up the sheep and the servants? Fire of God. Who did the third messenger say carried away the camels and killed the servants? Chaldeans. What did the last messenger say happened at Job's eldest son's home?
A great rain from the wilderness smote the four corners of the house, and it fell upon them and killed them.
All this happened like bang, 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 all at once. Now, you would start to think that God was against you, wouldn't you? If all this happened all at once. Did Job worship the Lord after hearing this terrible news? Yes. Can you imagine God saying, "What do you think of that, Satan?" I'm sure it wasn't like that, but yeah. I mean, how do you feel when somebody in your family sticks up for you? You know, a friend. You know, and so. You can see here, even though Job was misguided in some things, his hope was in the wrong place. He just hadn't learned it yet. I believe he's just like a lot of us. When we first become saved, we think, well, now that I'm a child of God, maybe I deserve some things, you know, or we'll get what I believe I deserve. And we have to be humbled from that. I know I did. So there's this relationship here. God has a relationship with Job. And though Job lost everything, he still sticks up for God. He sticks up for him. So that's pretty neat to me. We're ready to write people off for any little thing, you know. We need this character in our Christian walk. We need it. What then did Job say concerning the name of the Lord? Blessed be the name of the Lord. And that means his character. So Job knew the character of God. And so that's what helped him hang on. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be the character that I've learned in my days of God. That's blessed. Whatever's happened to me, I don't understand. And he finds out as time goes on. In verse 16, in all this Job not nor God foolishly. Who afflicted Job with boils from head to foot? Satan. Have you ever seen anybody with a boil? How bad they smell? Oh man, can you imagine all those all over your body and the stink that's there? And what did Job's wife say to do?
Curse God and die.
Yep, curse God and die. She'd given up. What three friends came to mourn with Job and to comfort him?
Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar.
And all those names mean something. But how did Job describe his three friends as comforters? Miserable. And that's all their names have to do with that in some way. Miserable. Somehow all that worked out. God's foreknowledge comes out in their names. Why would you name your kids something that means miserable? I don't understand it. But generally they'd name their kids whatever they were going through at the time. That's what they would name their kids. And so we've got three of them there that are miserable comforters. Because they were just pointing the finger. You must have done something. Yeah. You had to do something. And see, that's the perception that a lot of people have. So, and it could be true, but we're not supposed to judge that. We're not supposed to go there, what'd you do? You must have done something. Repent, and all this will go away. We're not supposed to do that, because what happens when we are in that position? Don't we want comfort? We would rather have comfort than, yeah. So miserable friends, miserable comforters. In the midst of all the questions and answers regarding why Job was suffering, what did Job know?
That his Redeemer liveth, and that he shall standeth the latter day upon the earth.
Yeah. So Job it been revealed to Job, basically the end time scenario, that he would be resurrected and stand with God. He didn't know the details, but he knew that, and that's what kept him going. What did God ask Job?
Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth?
Job begins to question God, doesn't he? And it's because of all those friends. And those friends were telling Job of all his sins, and Job's saying, I didn't do nothing wrong. I've done all this right. I've done this every day of my life. I did sacrifices, and I wouldn't dare curse or, anything. You know, this is just my vernacular of how it went down. But Job begins to think, I've done nothing wrong. I'm being wrongly accused here. And God says, who do you think you're talking to? Where was you when I laid the foundations of the earth? You think you're so smart, basically. But we know the end of it. He was humbled and came back to himself. But number 23, what happened to Job after he prayed for his miserable friends?
The Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before.
Yeah. When Job realized that for him to do anything in retaliation to his friends, that he would be just like them. And he prayed for his friends rather than get back at them for how they made him feel. God restored everything to him because in that moment, God wanted Job to know what he wanted from him. Isn't that amazing? And he restored everything to him. And we have this to look at and see how we need to be in our lives. Basically a story about humility all over again. You think you got it. You think you're humble. I mean, the second that you think you're humble, you've lost it. And so we've got to continually come back to that and be humbled. Come to ourselves. And we can be really fruitful for God. And so then everything came back to him. He had also
7
sons and 3 daughters. How many years did Job live after this? 140. Yeah. Yep, he got double everything back. He didn't get double children because he still had those children. I assume that they were all in heaven or in somewhere, paradise, I guess, awaiting Job. So he got the same amount again. God restored him everything twofold. And the years that he lived here was about the same time frame that that Abraham lived. And so that's how we know the time frame. And so I learned a lot from this, especially with preparing the lesson or the sermon for this morning. And I always see Job just a little bit different every time. One time I'll be a little hard on him. The next time I'll be a lot easier on him. And it's all in how you study it. Well, let's go, Lord, prayer. They're beating down the door to get in here. Lord, thank you for this. Just help us be humble. Help us see what we need to be able to be used by you and always come back to that in our life.